All right, everybody, welcome on in to the hot corner where it's getting kind of hot. We welcome you. We've got the two teams here, Giant Sports Talk Live over on the left and NorCal Sports Network on the right, coming together to create the hot corner. We're going to break things down for the Giants this weekend, spring training games. They won both. And we'll get right into it. First, let us thank our sponsors of the show. That would be for NorCal Sports Network. That would be Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Give Chapman Law Group a call, especially if you got hit from behind and you got a whiplash or something. Don't just settle and go to the chiropractor and say, I'm okay. Call Chapman Law Group. You could be leaving thousands of dollars out of in your pocket, leaving it on the table. So give Chapman Law Group a call. Call's free. The consultation's free. 415-613-9483. And for Giant Sports Talk Live.
Take it away, Eric.
Go for it, Glenn. That's your specialty right there, my friend.
Eric never remembers them. I'm lucky I can remember them. Who we got on board tonight for our sponsors? Eric, we've got Signatures for Soldiers. Give Tim a call. See how you can help them out. And that's near and dear to your heart. It should be to everybody's.
Yes, good stuff.
We've got, let's see, we have got Lefties in Burlingame for all your sports merchandise, autographs, cards, all that stuff for all the Bay Area teams. We have got Genesis Gold, IRA.com. We have got who, Eric, if you need a credit card, who do you call?
BetterCreditCards.com.
That's right. And let's see, we got the print shop. What's the name of the print shop? Jeez, I haven't got it in front of me.
Duxwell.
I say it every night. Duxwell Printing. They will do 24-hour printing in the Bay Area for you. So there you go. We got it covered. And again, BetterCreditCards.com, featured sponsor. They bought in for the year. John comes in. John never wants to chat, though. Just wants to make sure we mention his name. So BetterCreditCards.com. Send me the check. Thanks.
All right, guys. So there you have it. And took care of the business. Everybody enjoying this Giants spring training where they are playing well. What is their overall record now? 15 and
I see Spencer says 15-5. Man, that's
15-5.
It's a heck of a spring. Heck of a spring.
Okay.
Let's carry it over, man.
Yeah, let's carry it over. Definitely. And we'll get into the games. You want to start with today's game or yesterday's game?
Let's go yesterday's.
All right.
Let's make a note, though. You know what I think is going to – I don't know if it's going to carry over to the season. What's your guys' opinion? They're playing a little small ball. You notice during the preseason, all these teams, some do and some don't. But, well, geez, I ask one simple question here. Everybody's bowing out. Dan's going, Eric's back. Good.
Had a spill.
They're playing a little – oh, don't want that. Not around the computer. A little small ball. So you see these guys, like Gerard got on base today, immediately out. They go with a pinch runner. Now, some of these players they're bringing in specialty roles aren't going to be there come opening day. They'll be down in AAA. So I wonder how that's going to carry over.
That's a great question, right? It's going to.
What do you think, Dan?
Nope. Now you're good.
I had changed my shirt. I was just too doggone hot. That's why I went off camera. I was like, oh. Anyway, what was the? I had my earphones
talking
out.
about playing small ball. How the Giants are playing small ball, but they're using
small
it with
ball.
But with guys
like
that
today, for example, I was watching the game. Gerard comes in, gets a base hit, boom, he's out, and then they bring in McCray. Well, what happens come opening day when a lot of these guys that are coming in they're using a big roster and they're playing guys in certain situations who I anticipate might not even be on the roster. So how is the game? How is Giants baseball going to change come opening day?
I think they're going to be. I think that situation with Encarnacion was. I think it was his last at bat. He got to hit one pretty hard single, or is that the one where he hit to the wall? I think it was.
I think he had a double
wall. Yeah,
he had a double today.
And then McCray came in. I think he was just done for the day. They let him get there.
They're doing a lot of that, I find, when I watch the games. I'm either watching or listening every day on KMBR, and I see that this is the kind of preseason baseball they play. And I don't know if this really will blend into or bleed into regular season baseball. So is it a wise decision to get everybody in, keep them playing, even though they might be on this roster? I just wish this late, we got another week and they'll be heading back.
Nobody's playing 9 right now. Nobody across baseball is playing 9. So it's not, they won't start playing 9 until, a couple guys will get 9 innings in a game. Their regulars coming up next week because next Saturday they leave Arizona. So they've only got games tomorrow. Let me look at their schedule. I think they have an off day even during the week, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, let me look at the schedule. Okay, so they've got they're off Thursday. They play a game tomorrow, a split squad on Tuesday. They play one against San Diego. That one's televised, by the way, Tuesday night. It's going to be a night game, and they play in the day at Colorado. So anybody watching NBC Sports Bay Area, you'll be able to get the Giants game Tuesday night. And then they go Wednesday to Kansas City over in Scottsdale. They're off Thursday. And then basically what they will do is they'll have 2 home games, Cleveland, Arizona, and then they head out. A lot of guys might not even make that trip to that game in Kansas City. We'll see. But they got the off day, so maybe they do. But basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more games in Arizona. And then they're playing a week from tonight in Sacramento.
Yeah.
And I don't know. They're not playing the A's, are they? Playing the River Cats, right?
Yeah, the River Cats. And then they play Detroit. They play the last 2 games at Oracle before they go on the road. They play next a week from Monday and a week from Tuesday.
You'll probably see, I don't know which game, but one of these games, they'll play all the guys the whole game just to get them prepared. But the team is just really, I don't know if you guys watched the broadcast today, but they had Buster on in the 2nd inning.
That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to him, and he was really talking a lot about just getting these guys conditioned to a new mindset, winning baseball, attitude, guys getting them to buy in to competing harder, just everything, and getting them. So I do think there is a mindset change. Mm-hmm. And I think people are believing that they actually are good. Even if they're not good, they believe they're good. And that's that's half the battle. He even mentioned, he says most of this game is between your ears.
Right. Makes sense, right? I mean, yeah, we talk about that a lot. And unfortunately, when we had Farhan, you just haven't had it. And with Buster coming in, I mean, and I said that, hey, this is going to be the one thing I think Buster is going to excel in is his ability to convince people, hey, I've been in winning baseball. This is how it's going to get done. And I think that's going to prove valuable. So yeah, that's awesome to see. There's a lot of battles out there. There's a lot of
Aaron. Come on, Aaron.
It's been pretty quiet, to be honest with you, on the trade front. But anyways,
take the under.
As much as I agree with you, and baseball's between the ears. For this Giants team, it's still between the white lines. And if they continue, if they start off this year the way last year went at the plate, they gotta cut down on the strikeouts, man. They gotta get runners in with those runners in scoring position, and they can't be taking the K to the bench.
Agreed.
Big problem last year.
Now here we go. We got 100%. There's a few battles, right? You got the outfield position. You got the 5th starting rotation spot. Man, there's 2 guys who are just going. They're freaking throwing haymakers. Birdsong and Roop, man. Harrison.
I like what I saw from Birdsong today. Holy smoke!
Kid is
dancing.
Yeah.
Kid is.
I think the question isn't the number 5 starter. The question is, does Harrison start in the bullpen, or does he go to AAA?
Nope, AAA. He's got to go to AAA. He's got to go to AAA because he's the
fact he's coming in relief all the time and not even getting any starts.
They should have traded him after his first start when he did well. I know.
They should have traded him in the offseason, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but he had a good start. His first start, he was like trade him. His value. You know what? I'm going to take a look at his trade value because
Yeah,
last
see
week
where it's at.
it
What
was
is it, about
27. It was
And
27
before
last week.
that, it was 33.
Yep. Let's just just see what it is right now. Baseball trade
But yeah,
values.
To your point,
That's been
Danny,
a problem for this team, though. Not just him, but you look back at Snell. There's been too many times that the turkey's been on the table right there. And
I know.
and you see Sandoval's bumming around camp. I hope this isn't going to be Buster's old boys club. All the guys hanging out like an Elks Lodge over there.
Nah, he'll give his. That's fine. That's where you do it. You do that in spring training. I'm not too concerned. But I'm telling you, Hicks. I saw you put up the number 4 there, Dan. Hicks hasn't shown much.
You knew what I was talking about.
Hicks? No. There is absolutely no reason why that guy should have not just been given a job. If you're going to have a competition for the 5th position or for the 4th outfielder and for the 5th spot in the rotation, you should have made it. And Lou, I know you've talked about that before, right? You talk about, hey, why is they're making it a competition for the 5th, but not the 4th, right? I mean, come on.
Take a look at this, guys. This value. Well, what the heck's that? An ad. Okay, get it out of there. Okay, look at the values. Webb 76. Harrison's sitting at 27 right here, 27.8. But look at Birdsong's 12.6 and Roop's 10.6. They're better pitchers right now than Harrison. But if you can get something for Harrison, package him up and say,
I agree.
Because he is, or as you said, send him to the minors, tune him up, get him ready to get the confidence back and bring him up when he's doing well. But I mean, Birdsong, Roop, I gotta believe this team has got to see what we see. Can you not see with your eyes that Jordan Hicks is not doing it and Roop and Birdsong are, and Hicks would be great in the back of the bullpen? Imagine you get through 5 as a starter. Let's say it's not Webb, because Webb can go 6 or 7, right? Let's say you got Verlander, he gets through 5 and you got a lead of 3-2. Now you get to the 6th, you just need Tyler Rogers, Eric Miller, Jelly, somebody to pitch that inning. And then the 7th, you got Hicks, 8th, Duvall, 9th, Walker. You're not getting through that wall.
Awesome. You're not. Yeah, that's freaking awesome.
You might sometimes, but pretty
good.
Hicks, if he's in the bullpen, he could throw 100 plus because he doesn't have to hold back and pace himself. He can let it fly because he's only throwing 15 to 20 pitches. He's pacing himself because he's trying to pitch 90 pitches.
What say you, Lou? I want to hear what he has to say if he hasn't got a chance to
Well, I just got a couple of things to say, and one is pertaining to what Dan said when Buster was in the second inning on the telecast. I think the Giants and all the sports writers are on the same script. They're all saying the same thing. It's a new attitude. No more Farhan. They're all saying the exact same script. I'm starting to get a little sick and tired of it because it's almost like, okay, it reminds me of something else. But, I think a lot of talk because they need a lot of talk. But I think the biggest fuss right now, and I've been saying this for a while, is I think with this problem with the Giants starting rotation, I think the Giants have a motto now. It's the Giants way, and that's the only way. Because if they were smart, they would see, hey, we have to change, okay? Right now, we have 2 guys that have been through spring training that have dominated. And how these guys aren't the 4th and 5th starter, then why do we have spring training? I mean, just look at the stats. I mean, what else are you going to do? Now, it can go the other way, too, where you're saying, okay, Lou, at spring training, these 2 young guys had greats. Okay, well, nobody else has. I think the problem is too many times we look at spring training game to game. Nobody bitched yesterday when Chapman had 2 errors. He had 2 errors. This is the greatest defensive player in the world, but he had 2 errors in the spring training game. Oh, I know, but he was just working on and all this. It's got to be, what happens, it's there. And I think, the big problem is with the Giants is, yeah, it's a new year, but it's still the same team. So you can only change so much. How is it going to be if the Giants start off with a real tough road trip? Is it still going to be the same motto, the same positive? Spring training looks good now, but again, it's really only spring training. I think like yesterday, Webb was great. He pitched 5 innings. He only gave up 2 runs on 1 hit. He pitched great. But, Chapman, 2 big errors, and a lot of the guys that are coming through, I was happy to see, because most of our starters. But, a lot of times now where we're getting so close to the end of the season, I don't want to see Harrison come in. I personally now have come to the thing. I think Harrison's a bust.
Yeah.
I think he's a bust. This is now coming on 2 years. He still cannot figure anything out. I think this guy is so hyped. I don't think anybody could have come overhyped to come in and do it. And I think he's lost his confidence. I don't think he knows his role. I think, Glenn brings up a good point. The guy's coming in like in the 6th, 7th inning. He's not even facing major leaguers half the time. These are guys AA and AAA. He still can't do it. I think he's now going to have to go down and really get his mind together. He's going to have to do exactly what Duvall did at the end of the season. Because, I think a lot of it's mental. I think, the Giants, what they should do, instead of doing the Giants way, hey, Harrison, we understand you have a problem. You're going to start in AAA. So that takes out the scenario of who's going to be the 5th starter. Right. Why are you still talking about it? And you got to remember, opening day of the major league starts Tuesday. Okay. Cubs and the Dodgers. Okay. Once that goes, all of us are just going down, trying to get work, trying to get the arm extended. The Giants are still like, we still have a whole month of spring training. We should already know who the 5th starter is. It's almost like, I'm not even sure, I know we have Buster in charge and I know we have the GM, but I don't even know who the new pitching coach is. This should already be decided. Like, let me ask you this. How can they already know that Verlander is going to start the home opener? If we're not even
because
sure.
Because of the rotation, Lou, they already have it mapped out.
No, I understand that, the 5 things.
But the 5th starter isn't contingent on Verlander pitching opening day at
what I mean is they're already announcing that. That
right, because they already know the 4. They know the 4, but the 5th will be known after today. I believe you saw the 5th. They wanted to see. I believe you're going to have an announcement in the next few days. Maybe Roop gets one more start before they make that. Maybe they want to see one more start. I don't think there's an issue personally with them naming a 5th starter until they really, it's a dogfight. It looks like between Roop and Birdsong. I'm
really surprised today. I'm looking at the schedule. I'm surprised it's not Logan Webb opening day.
It is
in Cincinnati. Right?
No, but it's the opening
and
day.
And then Logan Webb opening day at Oracle Park because they've got 6 games there. Wouldn't you throw 5 pitchers and then come back with your starter, your ace, in the home opener? They play 3 against Cincy.
No, because Webb is going to pitch game 6, the 6th game on the trip in Houston. Webb will pitch game 1 and 6.
Yeah, he'll pitch the first game of the series in Cincinnati and the last game of the series in Houston.
Houston, right.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I thought
you
throw him on opening. He's an opening day pitcher at home.
Yeah, Dan, I understand that. But if they've already determined, Verlander's that, they should already know who the 5th starter is. That's all I'm trying to say. It's like
I hear you, but I don't know if
that's all I'm saying.
Right. I think they just want to see, they may still contemplate, hey, if they're listening to the Hot Corner, and if they're listening to what I've been saying on Twitter, they should put Hicks in the bullpen and put both Roop and Birdsong in the rotation. Look, the Oakland A's in 2012, Bob Melvin took over the team, and they didn't know who they were going to pitch. And in spring training, 3 guys, I think, won jobs that were rookies, and they won the division. They won 90-something plus games. Go check it out, 2012. They didn't have I can't even remember who the pitchers were. But you said you wanted to get younger. You said these are guys that you drafted. Why not go ahead and if they're proving it, let them go. Let them go. Jordan Hicks is not proving it. Jordan Hicks
No.
is getting hit hard. Jordan
His
Hicks.
last two.
Yeah. So why are we going to play this game? We saw it last year. What's going to be different? He's going to get it together and then he's going to fizzle at the halfway point. I mean,
Right? I know.
What happened to when I played ball, you had to fight for a job. And it was determined in the preseason, whatever preseason you were getting ready. Happened in football, happened in baseball, and happened in basketball. There was no preset, guys. Oh, sure, you had some studs, that were going to be the top guys, like our quarterback and, some guys that were just really good. But everybody had to fight for a job. And that's the way it's always been in sports. Why does Jordan Hicks, he's not some superstar. He's never even had a starting pitching role in the big leagues until last year, and he couldn't even go a half a season without being shut down.
And Dan, to your point, where has he had success as an MLB player?
As a reliever?
As a reliever. So why change it up? Just look, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just
it isn't rocket science, guys.
It
is not rocket science.
Exactly. And
guys, I don't understand why Major League Baseball now has gotten to the point where, and I've seen it kind of change since the 80s into the 90s. Now that it's not a blue collar kind of situation anymore. It's where the players are starting to dictate. I won't be traded here. I won't be traded there. I'm a starter. When did Hicks get the right to come in and go, I want to be a starter and I'm a starter on this team? I told Eric on the show the other night, I say, sit your ass down in the bullpen. You're our seventh inning guy, and that's it. We're paying you enough. So you do what we tell you.
Doesn't matter. We're writing the check. You do what we say.
Correct. That's exactly.
And to your point about Harrison,
to Larry, here we go. Harrison, did you see where he was at on the radar gun?
Be careful. What is it? What do you got? A knife in your? You got a knife?
I think he's getting mad.
Bookmark.
Oh,
from the Grand Canyon.
All right. Okay, there we go. I thought we were
different types of soil. Oh, there you go. So I'm not going to cut nobody. Not going to cut nobody.
I'm getting worried.
But
it's my direction.
But did you hear where he was at? Alex Pavlovic tweeted out saying he was sitting at about 93, 94. Occasionally he got up to 95. He was the guy that was coming out of spring or out of the minors saying this guy's got top, high 90s stuff. And if he's coming in at 93, 94, because if I'm not mistaken, at the end of last season, he was sitting at around 92.
Yeah.
So it's not like he got his fastball back. Everyone was talking about, he had an injury. He had his ankle, he had a shoulder, and this. Well, look, now he's healed, and now his velocity is still not where it should be. It's not going to play. And to what Lou was saying, the guy could possibly be a bust. I don't want to say that, but I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, we got to look at the reality of this because he's not getting it done right now.
But to Dan's point, talking about a trade, I think that Harrison, I think they're just stuck with him by virtue of the fact that this starting rotation could turn into Green Bay Swiss cheese, man. This is not a World Series winning starting lineup. You may need him in the first
probably
month.
Not.
Things good,
but I sure
like was it Lou said or you, Dan? The first. It was the same last year. What did they win? 3 of their first 15, I think, or 4, maybe 4 last year. They're opening up against. We're not even playing the Western Division, I think, until the second month of the year, which is kind of a change. We got the Phillies, the Yankees, the Mariners. You got Cincy to open, Houston. This is not going to be any picnic. And I don't know how you guys feel. I am not betting on this pitching staff.
We don't know. Oh, well, if he ain't
doing it. And the thing is, it could be really good. We could be on here in 4 weeks' time going, what the hell? Carried right out of spring trade. This is unbelievable. Or we could be going, yep, same old joke.
Don't know. We have to wait until
Mark Hope.
There's two of them.
Calling out Lou.
Yeah.
Wait, Lou. Did you just say Chapman? What the F? Seriously? And then he
Don't worry,
says,
we'll balance it out. Robert Rothberg will be here any minute.
27 bombs and a Gold Glove at third base is not good enough for you. Wow. You gonna
Mark, what's up, Mark?
you gonna defend yourself, Lou?
Yeah, 212 with runners in scoring position last year. Thanks.
Oh! Woo! Ow! Ow!
And
Like I
if
said
you
at the
saw
start of the
today's
show, though.
if you saw today's game in the 7th inning against a guy in Double-A, the A's new firearm guy. 1, 2, 3. Thanks for coming. No problem. That's I mean, hey, he's great defensively, but for him batting fourth and being the second highest paid player on the team and talking such a good game,
Casey did.
I expect more.
We've actually got this shot right here. We can bring this
Right,
up.
you have it. Yeah, you
And
have
we
it.
have Matt Chapman.
Did. And it was ironic. They were interviewing Matt Chapman at the time when Casey turned in a Gold Glove type play over there.
Here it is.
Let's go live.
Yeah.
Tape delay.
Ball's just really good on top of you. You rely on not routine hops, but steady hops.
No, but sometimes that's a pretty
Bobble,
good.
pick up. Boom.
Well, how about that? Schmitt doing his best Chapman impression. He's showing special. It didn't bother him.
Yeah,
Take some notes.
Those are the ones where it's kind of a do or die, but my goodness, what a nice play.
He's got a play. He's got that good arm as well. Throws a strike. Yeah. Well, Chappie, talk a little bit about kind of, the end of the season last year, you guys were playing your best baseball, and you really rattled off.
Some of these moves, guys, have left
we
the
go,
Giants
guys.
in an unenviable position. You signed Chapman to a 6-year deal with the talent, the young, and they keep saying, oh, we love our young guys. Well, when are we ever going to see them?
You guys, here's what I had to say about this. Let me pull you. I put this up on my Twitter. That was from my Twitter. I was watching, but this is what I had to say as we're talking. Been telling everyone that. Let me get this volume off here, so I'm not talking over it. Where is that volume?
Should pop up. There you go.
There we go. Okay. So what I said is, no, I'm not going to promote it and pay. Get out of there. Get this thing out of here.
Click on your tweet. Maybe that'll work.
Get out of here. There we go. All right. I've been telling everyone for a long time, Casey Schmitt's a Gold Glove caliber third baseman. Watch this play as Matt Chapman looks on. Casey deserves to play somewhere every day, whether it's second base with the Giants or third base in another organization. His talent is being wasted, just what Glenn was saying. Look, you drafted these guys. What's the purpose of drafting these guys that high if you're not going to either play them or move off of them? Because like you just blocked him for 6 straight years. I mean,
right.
You blocked him.
Well, that's the problem with the Giants. They're betwixt and between continually, and it goes back to Farhan. I hope it doesn't continue, where you've got good players, good young players, who you have an opportunity to trade. You either have to, one or the other, play them or stop pussyfooting around and make a deal. Don't be afraid. Buster has already said he's got this fear of trading a player and being proven wrong.
Yeah, he's playing safe right now.
It's got to be safe. Remember one thing, Giants baseball. Nothing like it.
He doesn't like it all right.
And you heard the great announcer saying we ended the season on fire and he wishes the season ended. Yeah, we were 5-7. Good job. Way to know your stats from last year. 5-7 we ended the year. How is that playing our best ball? Everyone lives in the past. I just don't understand it. Go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry about that.
I was just saying that. No, it's fine. People say Casey can't hit. The guy, he got 107 plate appearances last year, guys, between like 3 ups and downs.
Right.
You can't get consistent if you're just bouncing around and then you get called up and you don't play. They sit you. Look, guys, he's
Dan,
in fairness,
you can't keep playing the veterans like that either. moving them around. You're playing left field, you're playing right field, you're designated hitter, you're taking 3 days off. Got to get a new mindset of playing the roster. Play your best players. Go back to old school baseball. Play a team. You should have your 1 through 9 and your bench players. But in Giants baseball, your bench players play 3-4 games a week and they move them around. And I'm fed up with that. I just want to see the best players suit up.
This is a great point by Ibrahim
Okay.
here. I want to point this out. And I've said this too. Go ahead, Eric. You can read that one.
What's up, Ibrahim? He goes, my gripe with Chap over Schmitt is that if you're going to be a team that won't spend freely, every dollar counts. If the gap between Schmitt and Chap isn't wide, you're wasting precious cash on Chapman. Yeah. It makes
6
sense,
years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do they need? More solid top of the rotation pitching. You could have had that.
And I wanted to bring
True.
up something. I wanted to bring up something
True.
Dan does.
Thanks,
and
Ibrahim.
he just talked about it where Schmitt hasn't had a chance. But if you look over the last 2 years, it doesn't matter where he plays. He's still consistent. He'll go in the minors. He'll hit 12 homers. In the pros, he'll hit 12 homers. So when you do the whole year, maybe it's not 24, but it's going to be 18 or 20. You just got to play the guy. And if you play him, he's going to come through. That's, and that's something that Dan's been pointing out for a year. And I want to make sure everyone sees that. Doesn't matter where he plays. You can go AA, AAA, the pros. For 180 at bats, he'll still give you 12 homers. Well, if you add it and make it 540, it's not going to be 36, obviously, but it's still going to be 26, 27. I mean, who knows? He could be leading the Giants. Remember,
Right.
as Dan will point out, we have not had a 30 homer since Bonds. That's a disgrace. We haven't had one guy hit 30 homers.
2004, over 20 years. Yeah. Flores looking like himself in 23. That's huge. He hit a big bomb today.
You did.
Wilmer did. And so did Willie Adames. In fact, if we take a look at that particular box score of today's game, 7-3 over the Athletics. Haven't heard that in a while, have you?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, the Athletic supporters, that's what they should be called. There we go. The Sacramento, they're just called the A's right now. They're not even
correct.
They're nothing. Just the A's.
The Athletics.
All right. So hitting wise today, Ramos went 2 for 3 yesterday and went 2 for 3 again today. That's nice. He's starting to tune up just in time.
Mm-hmm.
Ramos the big bomb, and Flores a bomb as well. Chapman went 1 for 3, continues to tear up the spring, hitting 448. My concern there is he's a streaky hitter, and he's always been that way. He goes up, he goes down, he goes back up, he goes back down, and he ends up around 240-ish when the season ends. I'm hoping he's not shooting all his bullets right now because
right. I hear what you're saying.
Encarnacion
still freaking killing it too. Had 2 hits.
Hey, look, the Giants, look at all these guys hitting over 300 on the spring.
I don't think that won't last.
No, it won't. That's
No.
you know that. You know that. They'll be
Correct.
fortunate to hit 250 as a team, probably less. Wisely came up today. He made a nice play at second base across the bag over towards short, threw him out, and then he got a hit. I think he gets the final roster spot over Casey Schmitt because he's a left-handed hitter. And
stupid.
Yeah. And, the guy that has been – here's another one. Look, I am not anti-Tyler Fitzgerald, everybody, okay? Let me just get that on the top. I like Tyler Fitzgerald. He's very talented. I think he adds a great dimension, something the Giants lack, and that is speed. But he's also versatile, meaning he could play all over the diamond. He could play every infield position, and he can play every outfield position. There's only 2 places he cannot play, and that is catcher and pitcher, okay? So Casey Schmitt is hitting 300 on the spring with a 625 on OPS and an on-base percentage of 302. So he's not taking many walks.
No, he's not.
Fitzgerald, on the other hand, 258, but he's got a higher batting or on base by 0.1 over Schmitt, but he's got a 355 OPS. Is that
That's
slugging? No, that's slugging. That's slugging.
Oh, just slugging. Oh,
That's
still,
slugging.
you're still
Yeah,
not. He's
slugging.
not hitting extra base hits.
Yeah, he's not doing it. But Schmitt is. So why does my point is back to competition again? Why did they say Casey doesn't even have a shot at competing for a job? I mean, why does Fitzgerald? I guess that's what they want. I guess they saw enough. But, I think Fitzgerald gets the job, and I'm okay with him being the everyday second baseman. But I think Fitzgerald, if he doesn't hit and he strikes out as much or more as he did last year, he may lose that job if he's not getting on base and wreaking havoc on the bases. Because Fitzgerald's game has to translate into speed, helping them win games, and it has to be, and he has to have the, some pop to his bat.
And here's the question.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Does Fitzgerald have the veteran status, so to speak, really to lock down second base? Shouldn't it be a competition? Because he's only really, last year was really his coming out party, so to speak, right?
Yeah, right.
Because does he have enough of that veteran experience to sit there and say, "Nope, he's the second baseman," or should it be a competition? For me, why not? Why do you have to make it a competition for, say, the fourth outfielder? Why do you have to make it a competition for the fifth spot in the rotation, but you don't have a competition for second base or the fourth spot in the rotation? It just, I don't understand.
It doesn't make sense. These guys are a fourth place team the last 3 years. They haven't been over 500 in the last 3 years. This is not a team that says, okay, we're loaded with stars, guys that are locked in their position. No. And I agree with Ibram. I've been saying this since last year, and I've been barking up a tree about Fitz being Chris Taylor. He should be in the line. Chris Taylor for the Dodgers, when they were winning all their division titles, 15, 16, whenever Taylor came over, I think he came over around 16, 17 with the Dodgers in that range. Hey, he didn't have a lockdown position, but they found a place for him based on what was best, the matchups. Look, you've got 7 positions Fitzgerald could play. You can't tell me that there's not a position that one of the 7 positions that he could play, someone has not had very good success against that particular starting pitcher that can take a day off, and Fitzgerald can move in there, and then you can create a spot for Casey Schmitt. What's wrong with Fitzgerald playing 5 days a week, 6 days a week, giving a little rest to Ramos or Lee a break, or giving Casey a break at second one day, giving Adames a day off here and there, giving Chapman a day off here and there? Those guys can still be the DH for the day, right? I mean, Chapman can be the DH. Adames could be the DH. You're just talking one game once in a while. And, and I get what they're saying. We think Fitz will do better if he's got one position to play and he can just focus in on that. But to me, Chris Taylor's mastered the utility role. There's other guys that have done it too. And I think the Giants should be taking advantage of that. So.
Yeah, Eric, that's why I keep saying it's the Giants' way, and that's the only way. It's almost like they will not admit they made a mistake, with Harrison or the battle. There's no reason. I mean, Fitzgerald hasn't even played a whole season when you really think about it. So why should he be at second? I mean, you bring up a great point where, we're battling in the outfield. To me, an infield position is pretty important. Second's very important, especially, where it seemed like last year, it seemed like everybody and their mom stole off us. So if you have a lefty, a righty, then he's got to get second base. I mean, it's an important position. We're making it like, it's little league and it's right field where we're going against a team where everyone's going to pull the ball to the left. And it can't be like that. Second baseman is a key thing. It's part of the double play. It's part of the steals. It's a huge thing. And if a guy, if they're doing exactly what Dan's saying, they should have 3 guys competing with it. Give everybody a chance because we got to have the best player. And, we're a 4th place team. If you don't put the best in, then you know what? Settle for 4th. And we can't have that. And you don't know if he's going to be able to do it for a whole season.
And here's
he
the
couldn't
thing.
do it last year. It's
Why?
bad.
And there should be no pushback on that. Doesn't everybody want the best player to play whatever? Look, because there's a lot of people out there. Oh no, Fitzgerald has to play. Well, what if he's not the better player? We don't know. If you have a competition and you have guys going out there and he doesn't seem to be the best player, well, then what's wrong with playing the guy who is playing better? There's nothing wrong with that. For me, as a fan, I want to see the best players on the field, whether it's in right field, whether it's in the starting rotation, or whether it's at second base. I mean, it's not about your name. It's not about your favoritism. It should be about who is the best, and whoever comes out on top should get the ability to show. And if he can't do it, well, then guess what? You replace him.
Yeah, it's not like Tyler Fitzgerald is a veteran who's held the job down for 3 or 4
Correct.
years, and he's been successful, and he's like,
right.
In those cases, guy has a rough spring or whatever. You give him the job, and it's different. But this guy was a rookie last year, and Casey was drafted higher than him in the 2nd round. I'll always be a little bit disappointed when I've seen Casey make plays like that constantly. I see comments, by the way, about Chris Taylor. No one wants Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor's a bum. We're not talking about Chris Taylor today. We're talking about Chris Taylor in his prime.
Right.
I mean, he's past his prime. He's not the player he was 7-8 years ago. But
no, and I think Chris Taylor is the kind of guy who is your prototypical bench player. We've got enough of those.
Yeah. And what do we got here? We got 99 cents.
What's up, Gus?
Yeah, Chris Taylor's a good guy coming off the bench. But
Gus, hop on the bus, Gus. No need to discuss much. All right.
You think that, like I was saying earlier, guys, I haven't said a whole lot tonight, so I'm just sitting back listening to you guys. But do you don't have to agree with me, but do you find, or are you afraid that the Giants go the route of playing the whole, like using the bench daily?
I think they play more guys regularly except right field and first base and DH.
See, I have a feeling they're going to keep doing this out of the spring training. You're going to see guys who start 0 for 2 and it's the 5th inning, and then somebody comes in to pinch hit, stays in the game. I think they're going to, I got this fear about that.
Hopefully not.
You don't know yet.
And you know why, Dan? You know why? What leads me to believe that is because I don't want to steal your line here, but they haven't picked their lane. They don't know who they're going with. And I think they're just going to be pulling strings all the time. Like I said earlier in the show, and I know it's spring training and that's what you got to do, but this team looks to me like you're going to, let's say you have McCray, Schmitt, even Matos. You got some young guys on the bench. I think they're going to get used quite frequently. I don't know if that's good because it goes against my philosophy of player starting 9.
Well, I think what it is especially spring training, you want to give opportunities to everybody. Because
I understand that, Eric, but I'm afraid they do it and they take this route come opening day.
I can't see that. If they do, boy, that would be something.
I think the guys that get screwed on this team in order is Matos gets platooned with Yaz and gets the short end of the stick because he bats from the right side.
Right.
And Casey Schmitt doesn't end up making the team and gets sent to Sacramento. And those two guys are two young foundational pieces if you want to move forward. And you're basically had Ned Coletti on last Tuesday night, I believe it was.
Yeah.
I asked him about this thing with 74% pitchers are right-handed. And he says, well, what are you telling your guy? We don't believe in you.
That's
We don't
exactly
believe you.
what I'm saying.
We don't believe you can hit right-handed pitching. So what the heck are the Giants doing? They're going to play Yaz because why?
Of his glove? Because of his glove?
Yeah. But is he going to be on the team in 26?
No.
Are the Giants ready to compete for a world championship this year?
No.
No.
You're missing an
Are they
opportunity.
possible to be able to maybe compete in next year? Maybe with a signing or two, but Matos won't be tuned up, ready to play every day because look, it's like working out, right? If you don't work a muscle it's going to atrophy. Okay. The dude is not going to be as good of a hitter if he can't get everyday looks, and he's going to be on the team. So he's not going to be in AAA getting his swings. So he's going to be on the bench 3/4 of the time. 3/4 of the time. For what? For what? A mid player at best? I mean, we're not talking hey, you know what? We're going to have to play you're going to have to sit because we got Roberto Clemente out there. You're behind. You freaking who is this guy, Yaz? He's got a great name. I'm telling you, if his name was Mike Smith, he would have been cut.
The Giants like to protect
Eric, could it be maybe Buster doesn't want to be known as making a mistake with the signing?
Could be.
It was really his first big signing. Hey, guys. Maybe give him 6 months. I don't want to look bad. I think and that's why I keep saying it's the Giants way. And that's the only way, because you got to remember a lot of this reflects with Buster and the new GM. So they don't want to look bad right away. But I just think right now me and Dan, before spring training, we said the Giants have a lot of questions.
They do.
Offensive.
Yes.
And now it seems like the questions haven't been asked. Haven't been answered. And maybe there's even more questions than before spring training. And, I just think right now, being so close to the season, I don't think other teams are like this. I think the A's, know what they're doing. Obviously, Arizona is still trying to figure out who their closer is because they have two studs that can close. That's a good problem to have. The Dodgers, obviously, they're going to start in 48 hours, so they know what they're doing. And it's just like the Giants take 1 step, 2 steps back. And for us to get better, we got to take 2 steps forward and not take a step back. And it's a little frustrating, but who knows? In 2 weeks, Giants get off to a good start, and we have our first hot corner after the season starts, and we start laughing, saying, God, Lou was wrong again. And I'd love to be wrong, but it's just one of those things.
We just had our fantasy draft Friday night.
Fantasy draft. That was fun, by the way.
And I didn't think he even got drafted, but he did. We have another Giants homer. That would be Mike O. He drafted Yaz in the fantasy draft. How do you know this is how people think of Yaz. We got homers like Mike O. I like to write him. What percentage do you think Mike Yastrzemski is rostered in all of the Yahoo leagues out there? What percentage is he rostered? Because, the good players are 100, 99, 92,
I'll
94.
say 6%. What do you say, Eric?
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's go 26%.
What do you say, Lou?
I'd be maybe because people think he's playing for the Boston Red Sox. I'll give him 11.
I'll give him 1. I'm going 1%. I'm going to check 1%.
What do you say, Lou?
Oh, okay. Then I was originally going to go 6, but you said 7, so I went up. So I'll go back to 6%.
I'll go 1%.
Oh, if you went the Price is Right, all you had to do was go 1 over, but you would have been right.
I can't
even see that.
It's too blurry.
No focus.
Let me see if I can get it to blow up. Turn. Okay. The answer is Mike Yastrzemski, 2%.
2% rostered.
There
Ouch.
you go.
2% rostered.
I'm in the Showcase Showdown. What did I win?
That's
He better have
what
picked him like
people-
the very last round. He didn't like
That's
pick
what-
him high, did he?
Oh
Hold on,
no!
I'll find
Oh,
out. I'll
no.
find out. I'll find
Oh,
out.
I wanna
my
find-
God.
I want to find that out.
Does
That's
Mike go no
what-
baseball?
I'm no comment.
All right.
No comment. I like Mike.
Mike go. Eric and Glenn and the guys want to say thank you for the donation. Thank you. We'll be back again next year.
Where did he go? Let's
Yeah,
see.
people were saying that about Eric and I last year, so I'm gonna keep it on the down low
Yeah. Yep. Good.
till we see how this shakes out after the first month, Eric.
So yeah, the I don't know what round Mike Yastrzemski. How many
I'm
rounds
looking.
did we have? We
I
had.
thought he went
26,
mid-pack, 20th.
He was the second to
I mean,
last player picked in the draft. He
Was
was
he?
he was drafted in the last round.
Oh,
Oh, the last
That's
round.
Yeah, and
That's not
I
too bad. That's not too bad.
guys, I know you guys had your draft the other
Yeah,
night.
last
Probably,
round.
I'd say out of all the Giants, I would probably draft 4 players on the Giants roster.
I drafted
if I had to.
one. I drafted one.
And I'm just saying
Who did-
4 have an opportunity to get drafted.
Name the 4. Who do you think they were?
I would say Webb.
I think there's
I
more than
would
4.
say Adamas.
Yeah, 2.
Dan probably picked Ramos.
I didn't get him.
And of course, one of you guys thinking, oh, he's coming up. I need him for the second season. I'll set him probably picked Eldridge. And the guy's
I
not
picked
going to be
Eldridge.
on. See?
I picked Eldridge
He picked
you know,
Eldridge.
and
But he-
yeah,
again,
because he was a free pick because we
He's a-
can NA him.
Yeah.
I've already NA'd him. And
Yeah.
Chandler Simpson, I've NA'd him.
4 was Chapman.
yeah.
And
You
then
see Robbie
Fitzgerald.
Dizzle? Holy
But I would
Fitzgerald
never
was-
draft Chapman because offensively, again, I don't know how your league works. You know, most of the leagues I've been in fantasy, it's all about offense. I would never pick Chapman for offense unless
He's
it's
not
maybe
too-
the last. And oh my God, I
not
need a
bad.
30. I need
He's
a
not
30.
bad offensively because of the categories.
Oh, some clown out
Correct.
Yeah,
there.
but there's so
drafted
many other
Chapman.
third basemen that are better offensively, is all I'm saying.
I tried
You're-
to trade
hey,
for
Lou,
Chapman today with some
Lou,
guy and he wouldn't trade
You're
him.
doing well tonight. You picked off 2 guys. You just blasted the guy who would pick Eldridge and the guy who picked Chapman, and you're looking at both of them.
I needed a third baseman, and his points projection was actually pretty good. So I was like, you know
Yeah,
what?
It was 3 something, right?
Some of
I
the
asked
other
Eric
guys-
real muto for him today.
It's, you know who I was thinking? I was thinking of Royce Lewis. I was thinking about. I was like,
No.
I don't. Yeah, I know.
Already hurt. Yeah.
I know. And I was like, whatever.
Robbie Dizzle went after all the Giants. Now he's coming after me. Oh, he's got about 7 trade offers into me. He wants to trade me Wilmer.
Oh wow.
So I put packages together and he won't bite.
Yeah, Robbie went after the Giants guys.
Yep.
So
He's got Encarnacion.
Robbie,
and
again,
he's got-
They would like to say thank you for the donation. You know,
I'm trying to pull a trade with him, but I offered him 4 for 2 today, and he said no.
I'm the donation.
do it.
I'm the donation guy.
Both you and Dilly. Where's Dilly? I know Dilly. You got out there somewhere, right, buddy?
Oh yeah. I'm still
Dilly
laugh-
took an
I'm-
odd
I'm-
route, though. I've
I'm
never
only
seen
laughing
this happen in
because-
fantasy baseball before. Dilly went kind of.
I'm only laughing at these guys because they made an honest mistake and then they figured it out right after the
Yeah.
draft.
Can you imagine naming Dilly your general manager of your team? On opening day, you wouldn't have a starting 9. He's got enough pitchers to run your entire farm system.
Relievers, that is.
He
Yeah.
drafted relievers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The point system, you know, it's interesting because you get a point for each out. You can be a starting pitcher, go 5 innings.
Get a shit ton of points.
You got 15 points. Let's say you get 5 strikeouts. Now you got 20 points. Let's say if you gave up 5 hits, now you're back down to 15. Walk
15.
1. You're down to walk
14.
1. And you gave up 3 runs. You still got 11.
And then you got to win.
Who's gonna
you're back up to
run all
15.
this AI?
Wait, if you-
I mean,
if you get
that's
the
a lot
loss,
of stuff you
you're-
got to get
you're
into
at 8.
consideration.
But
Now,
now,
there's a lot.
How many categories we got?
A shit ton.
28 different scoring categories.
Yeah.
now listen to a closer. Closer comes in. pitches 1 inning, gets 3 outs, gets the save. He gets 6 points. Maybe he gets 1 strikeout. He's got 7 points. But if he comes in and goes 1 inning, gives up 2 hits, and
walks
and loses
walks,
the game, he's minus.
He could. And if he blows the save, if you blow a save, it's minus
Like a
3.
Duvall
and you
from
get
last
the
year.
loss, it's minus 3. And if you give up a couple of hits, you could be like minus 11 as a.
Oh, that's
as
why
a
I said to
closer.
Eric, I think Gilly could look at nights where he looks and goes, geez, I finished minus 32 today.
Senior, he's been hammering me about this
Too
ever
late.
since the draft. I know. He goes,
Late.
it's got to be at 0.33. And then, well, no, it's been 1 since the beginning.
Oh, we were around what was it, round 20 the other night? People were already chiming in. You gotta tweak the stats. You gotta no changes now.
Yeah, you can't change it now. Otherwise, because it would change everybody's draft
Yes,
strategy.
correct.
How'd
That's
you
why I
like
was
watching
tweaking it
ball from
before.
over in Japan? Did you catch any of the games? I watched both.
I didn't watch the Cub game against the Giants, but I did see the Dodgers. I mean, could you believe that was like, I've never seen the atmosphere when Ohtani came up, and then of course he blasted it. But I mean, that's just, baseball in Japan is so different. But it was like a rock star had come home and he was playing his big hit, and of course he got the hit. I mean, I've never seen anything like it for a spring training,
Guys.
for an exhibition.
Wait a Wednesday.
Crazy.
Look at the.
Yeah.
Did you see the pitching matchup for Wednesday?
Yeah.
Holy smoke! They'll tear the roof off the place.
Yep.
It's gonna be. I see Mookie Betts is out for the series. Whoever drafted Mookie, I can't remember who was it. That
What's
drafted
wrong
him.
with him?
Illness,
Oh, got the flu probably.
probably, or ate something bad. One or the other.
Just don't get Freeman or Teoscar. I don't care if the rest of the Dodgers get the flu.
Dodgers are
Oh, wow.
150 game 1 and minus 155 game 2.
Why? Who's the pitching matchup in game 2?
They're minus 150 in game 2 with Roki going. Oh no, I'd put my money on the Dodgers. I think he's gonna have unbelievable year. He better.
Here, I'll
But
give you the
yeah.
exact.
Isn't it Yamamoto and Sasaki going right? Game 1, game 2.
Yeah, here.
Oh, listen to Senior taking shots at us.
So the game on Monday,
I knew
the
what it
game
was.
Tuesday morning, it's 3:10 our time. So Yamamoto against what's his name for the Cubs, the lefty Igmana or
Imanaga?
Imanaga, yeah.
Yamanaga.
And then on
So
Wednesday,
who's pitching game
it's
1 for the
Sasaki
Imanaga's
against Steele.
Oh, Steele.
okay.
I got Steele.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
Holy-
Yamamoto.
holy-
Yamamoto for the Dodgers.
Oh,
So
they
the-
must have changed it because Steele was going to go game 1.
Yeah,
So the Cubs aren't
going
able
game
to.
2.
That's what they said on the Dodgers broadcast.
Nobody
2
could
nights
loan
ago.
the Cubs a Japanese pitcher, so it could be four starting pitchers, all Japanese for the first game. I mean, come on. Let's trade Senga over from the Mets real quick.
He better have a good year too. I got him.
Wow.
He didn't do bad in my pitching. I don't have any relievers though. That's my. Oh, I picked up the closer today from Texas. Nobody wanted him, so I took him.
Yeah, Otani's going to pitch this year. He's probably going to pitch in May. Probably in May.
Something like that, right?
Ooh,
Yeah.
I think that's dangerous. What say you guys? I think you got a good thing.
I would have left. I would have. I'm with Glenn. I would not let him start. But you know what? Otani's somewhere in that contract. There's whether it's verbal or whatever was
Again,
like
the player calling the shots. Right?
I want to pitch, and
Yeah.
if I'll sign here if I get to pitch because he may find out the hard way that it affects his offensive numbers because I think if I was going to pitch Ohtani, you know what I would do with him? I'd say, okay, you're our closer, but you do not pitch back-to-back days. So, and the Dodgers probably aren't going to be in situations where they need a closer.
They don't even need him to pitch it anyway.
No, just let him.
You guys
Just let
like
him.
you got Dustin
throw
May.
the
Who won't even see the field.
Now, I would make him the closer because he doesn't have to go prep like crazy. Do you know starting pitching? You're prepping a day or two before.
Right. Correct.
I
You're
wouldn't
like-
pitch him at all. If he gets hurt, who's the fall guy here?
Mm.
Somebody's going to
Maybe
be
it's-
answering.
Maybe it's Andrew Friedman. He gets fired, and then Ohtani can get out of the contract.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
What kind of contract is the loopholes in that thing? I'll play. My contract is null if the GM is gone. What kind of stuff?
Oh, look at
What's
that.
going on?
Look at Kyle. Pitch him in the playoffs because no one's seen him all year. And he's rusty and he's throwing balls all over the place.
He could be the specialist that they need him when the playoffs happen.
Okay, Dan, how about a little less Dodgers, more San Francisco Giants? We're 12 days out. How do you think we're faring out in National League West?
I think that's interesting you say that because I was just getting ready to say, let's get back to the Giants. I think the Giants have the potential and a possibility. I haven't made my picks. It'll be on the 26th. Right now, I'm on the teeter-totter between third and fourth for them. I think they have an outside shot of getting to third place because I think if they get third place, I think San Diego has a step down of a year. It's not that the Giants get 89 wins and the Padres get 88, that type of thing. It's more like the Giants get 84 and the Padres finish at 500, something like that. That's how I see the Giants maybe getting into third place in the division because I think Arizona's winning close to 90. I think the Dodgers are winning close to 100, and that's where I see it right now. I think the Giants, this new regime with Buster, I think everything is much different. The vibe's different all the way through the walls of the front office down to the kitchen. It trickles all, the players. And I think these guys surprise people in the sense that they play a better brand of baseball. I think some of these tight games that they're in, they win a few more of these tight games. And I think somehow at the end of the season, they're 10 games to go, and they're sitting right around 80 wins with 10 games to go, and they can go 85. They can go, they can win 87. They can win 83. I think that's where this thing settles between 80, 85 wins. And that's only, again, I'll say this with a caveat, if they don't have a bunch of injuries to the pitching staff.
That's key.
That is
That's
key. If the pitching staff, if it happens, what happens last year to last year's pitching, they're 77, 78 win team.
I think the things play out the way they should. I think that you're going to see a carbon copy. I think Dodgers win it. Padres, they still got Cease. If they keep him, they got a lot of depth on the field.
They still have a team, man.
They're looking good. All this off-field stuff, that has nothing to do with innings 1 to 9. I think the Padres are the second best, and Arizona's closed the gap. But I still think we're a fourth place ball club. And fourth place at best. I just do not. I don't like our pitching staff. I just don't. The not so much inadequacies, but they don't. One day they're saying we love our youth and we're going all in with the young pitching, and then you got Harrison who's not even hasn't started. We don't see him at camp. He's pitching an inning here and there in the bullpen. I don't like that. And then I've never been a fan of since they signed. I don't know. Guys love Verlander for some reason. I don't know if it's the cachet of, he's a Hall of Famer. Well, maybe he should be in the Hall of Fame now. And he should be coaching. Maybe. But what say you, Eric? I think it's a carbon copy. I think, and I also will add, I think not just don't I like the pitching staff, and I've said it before, I harp on it. They're an injury away in that pitching staff from being a complete mess. Ooh, somebody goes down early. And can I ask before we go to Eric, Lou and Dan both touched on it, but what this vibe, the word vibe, and the influence of a guy like Verlander, what happens even after the opening 2 road trips? If we come back 2-4, or where we go through the first road trip and home, and we're like 4-9. What say you then? Are we back to holy crap? Giants baseball. Lou does it best. Giants baseball.
Nothing like it. I'll let Eric. Eric, tell me what you think, and then I'll tell you three what I think how it's going to be for the Giants. Eric, what do you think about?
I think
this year?
I kind of like the starting pitching right now. We'll see what happens. I mean, injuries are going to happen. We hope it doesn't. But if any club suffers a significant injury into starting rotation, it's going to be bad. The only good thing that the Giants have is they have depth. Again, is it elite depth? No. But who has quote unquote elite depth other than unless you're the LA Dodgers? But
are you talking about elite, depth in the pitching?
Depth in starting pitching. There's depth in starting pitching. Because, for example, let's say Verlander goes down. Well, you still got Beck. You still got Wynn. Harrison's going to be in AAA. So they're going to be able to bring guys up to eat innings, so to speak, until Verlander comes back, depending on the type of injury that he has. So I
don't think eating innings equates to winning baseball.
Well, you have to
innings, but
you have to eat innings if there's an injury. You have to have a guy to eat innings until that guy comes back. I mean, you got to remember it's 162 games. It's not like we play 20 games and boom, it's postseason. It's drawn out, and you can afford to have a pitcher go out there because you remember with a pitcher you're only going out every 5th day. So if you go on the 2-week IL, you miss 2 to 3 starts. And again, it's not going to be the death knell of the team, so to speak. They can piece it together. I like the youth, man. I want to see Roop and Birdsong in the rotation. It's probably not going to happen. What concerns me is the Hicks experiment. I still don't like it. Much rather see one of these young guys. I keep saying that, but I'm not too concerned with the rotation in the beginning. Now, after the All-Star break, then start talking to me about the starting rotation because that's when stuff starts breaking down and you may have to make some moves. So I think at the beginning of the season, I think we're going to be fine as far as the rotation. It's going to be the end of the season. I say it's going to be the mirror opposite of what it was last year because Snell had no spring training. And then you had other guys who were scuffling. So no, I think the Giants are going to be good coming out of the gate, but in the stretch, I think it's going to be a little bit weird. But
we're going to have a good opening month. Look, that's a tough.
I think so. I think we'll be okay.
That's a tough. See, they win, if they can play above 500 in the opening month, then I would say.
And here's the thing. Again,
they're looking good.
It's a marathon. Even if you finish 2 games under 500, you're still okay in April. You finish 2 games under in May, you're still somewhat there. After May, well, then you got to start getting it done, right? June, July, August, you got to start getting something done. But I don't put a lot of look. If you're like 10 games below 500 by say the end of May, well then there's some cause for concern. But I don't know. I said they're going to finish around 84 wins, give or take a few wins, plus or minus. That's where I think. But you never know. It's the game of baseball. That's the thing. Soon as the bell rings, and I say this all the time, you just don't know what's going to happen. So that's what I love about the game.
Plus, at the start of the show, the guys really summed it up. Like we're going around the table here talking about they could be like this, it might be like this. The Giants don't even know. We could finish the first road trip, the start of our season on the road, with 4 DHs. They just don't seem to have enough of a plan to me.
I think that's gonna be weeded out.
That Lou said during the opener, he was talking about you've got Encarnacion, you got Wilmer Flores, you got Lamont Wade. They're talking about playing Wade in the outfield again. Does this not just sound like it's like a yo-yo? I don't know who's playing where. I don't know if they know who's playing where. I think they've got so many, and it's a good thing, but they got these guys like Schmitt and McCray, and they don't know what to do with themselves.
Yeah.
And we saw last year. You saw last year, and this is stupid baseball. When a guy goes 3 for 3 and he's batting 8th, it's like Little League. Guess what? Eric, you went 3 for 3 last night. We're going to bat you leadoff.
I don't see that happening this year. It's not happening this year. I don't see it.
I'm on the side of the fence that I haven't seen it change.
Yeah. Well, it's because we had a change in the offseason. That's why.
So let's just see. What say you, Lou?
Well, first of all, you can't lose a division. I mean, you can't win a division
In
in the
April.
first month of the season, but
Correct.
you could lose a division in the first month.
Yes.
And after I speak, I think you guys should put up just the first month to show how easy it is, especially with 17 straight games. We're going to need depth. I personally spoke to a couple guys that are pretty bright, that had bet
Been watching a
futures and
little too
everything,
much
and they
wrestling.
basically think the Arizona is going to be super good this year.
Oops,
They're
I
going to
thought
be
it was
really
muted.
good. It's good. It's going to be, they told me 20, 10, 5, and then +1. They think the Giants are going to finish 20 games below the Dodgers, 10 below Arizona, 5 with San Diego, and they'll beat Colorado by 1. And these guys are one game, so we're not going to finish.
I like
in the
everything,
cellar.
but you threw me a curve with the Colorado.
So
Woo!
they first of all think Arizona is going to be a lot closer to the Dodgers than anybody's talking, just because of their depth, health wise. They're going to be really good this year. So when you look at our schedule in the first month of the season, what me and Dan pointed out, 17 straight games. I personally think they got to be within 3 games of 500, because our schedule, especially going on the road where we got to go to Philly and New York. I know these teams have problems with their pitching, but most of these teams, they don't lose at home. And it's not like we're the greatest road teams. You know what I mean? The Giants, they've always played well at home, but on the road, it's a different story. So, Eric, I don't know if you can bring up just the schedule to start the season. It's not easy.
Milwaukee, Texas. And
it's
you know what
very
scares
tough.
me about your whole soliloquy there? You know what's the scariest thing I've heard in the show, Lou? When you say we're 2 losses away from finishing in 5th place.
You said 1. What do you think? What are you
1.
saying, Lou?
Really?
You think the Giants are going to be? What was their record?
I think they're going to be 20 games behind the Dodgers,
I
10
agree with
games
that.
behind Arizona, 5 behind San Diego, and they'll be 1 game ahead of Colorado.
So you think
They
they're going to
say
win about
Colorado's
80
catching up
games? You think they're going to win about 80 games?
I don't know. Well, if you look at last year's schedule, what did we finish?
How many do you think the Dodgers are going? How many do you think the Dodgers are going to win?
Probably
I think the
around
Giants are going to be more like 28
100.
to 30 behind.
I'd say maybe 100 and 102.
Okay, that means you think 20 games. The Giants are at 82. That makes Colorado 81, 500
Yeah.
team. You're. I'm sorry, Lou. I love you, but you're smoking something. Colorado is not going to be a 500 team.
Well, maybe the Dodgers only win 97. Then we win 77.
I think you're on the wrong side of that slope. I think the Dodgers could win 120 plus. Dan, you agreed with me. I saw one of your shows. You
No,
were calling it.
I disagree. I disagree. I said they could. I picked him originally about 107, 108 in the offseason. I'm going to tone that down. I think it's going to be low 100s, right around 100, 100. I see the Dodgers going anywhere between 98 to 105. I don't think they're going to. They're not playing for the regular season. They're built for October.
Yeah, it means nothing. They could clinch September 1st and the whole month of the season. They're just getting ready for the playoffs.
I still say 120. They got I think the greatest pitching staff in the history of baseball.
On paper, it's good.
If they stay healthy,
And their lineup's elite.
Yeah. Again, it's about
They
injuries
have
as well.
There's nothing missing on that.
120. You got to remember, isn't the all-time record the Seattle Mariners?
116.
116.
Yeah, I think it
They're
gets
going to
shattered
win
this year.
120. That's 120 and 41. Even
Yeah.
some of these guys have an off day. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. I mean,
Really tough.
I'm calling it.
All right, here's the schedule. You got 3 in Cincinnati there in March, the end of March, 1 in Houston. What do you think they do in Cincinnati? You think they split? Not
1 and
split, but
2.
you think they go
1 and 2. 1 and 2.
I think it's 1 and 2 in Cincy, 1 and 2 in Houston.
Okay, so
Go back
what's
2
that?
and 4.
There we
2
go.
and 4. I'm in agreement with that.
Okay, what about Seattle?
great pitching.
It's gonna be tough.
Just
I'll
don't
go
get
1-2 again.
They got great pitching, Seattle, and they should be facing Seattle's number 2, 3, and 4 if Seattle's playing 6 games.
They're going to be at home.
Yeah.
Does that mean anything? I mean,
I got 1-2, and then Cincinnati 2-1. That'll be their first winning.
okay. So where you at?
Wait a
So
minute.
after-
Wait a minute. Something's happening. Uh-oh.
You have a
Glenn
chest
and I
pains?
are in identical agreement the first 4 series.
That's
so
a
you
lot.
think the Giants will be 3-6 after the Seattle series?
I could
4.
see that.
Woo.
3-6 or 4-5.
Okay, and then after the Cincinnati series at home.
Yeah, 3 and
I think
6,
I think
So
they
5 and 8.
5 and 7. 5 and 7.
5 and 7.
They'll be
Yeah,
fine.
5 and
Okay,
7.
now we're staying in a month of just the end of
Yeah, look
March.
at our first another.
Yeah, the next
road trip.
7, the next
Yeah, here we
7
go.
guys. Who the hell knows? You're going to New York and Philadelphia. Jesus,
You know what?
I don't know
I
enough
think-
about this ball club yet.
I
to know
think
what
the
they have
Giants
to
can
have.
take 2 of 3 out of New York because they got no damn pitching. I think they can take 2 of 3 against New York.
They could take 2 or 3 against Seattle too, because
yeah, they
Seattle
could.
doesn't have any hitting, and the Giants. It's tough to score in, Oracle. It just depends on if the Giants bats. If the Giants bats remain hot at the start of the season, or are they going to cool off? If they start cooling off, you could have. I just hope what they're trying to do in the spring training, it carries over, because a lot of times once the season starts and people have a rough couple of games and they're all of a sudden 0 for 8, they start resorting back to old habits.
Yaz does that every year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
23
Chapman-
and 24 days to start the season. That's pretty tough.
What are you
Including
thinking about that
17
Yankee?
straight.
I know this is too far. Like, it's a long way away, but Yankee series. Dan, you got 3 in New York. Eric
Hey,
thinks
speaking
New
of
York doesn't have a pitch.
Yaz,
I think they.
speaking of
sweep us.
Yaz, Glenn, Mike O just joined us.
You know who he
Mike?
just picked up? He just
Oh.
picked up Carson Risenhunt about 20 minutes ago.
Oh,
Jesus.
he did. I was
Yeah.
gonna pick him up. He put him on NA. Good move, Mike. That's a good move. I like Wisenhunt.
You guys, what is wrong with you guys?
That's
Don't you guys
Between
want to
what?
win these leagues? Why are you guys picking up crumbs?
Between
They're
You guys
Mike,
are
NA
picking up
Lou.
crumbs.
Mike
They're-
O and Robert
Lou,
Rothberg,
they're
I keep
NA.
telling Eric,
They're on the
those
roster.
two are
They
in the
don't
running
count.
for the Golden Shovel Award.
I got it.
They don't count on your roster. They're extras.
What
and
is this?
they're like a taxi squad.
Yeah, you have to have 3 guys who, you have
I
to
got
have 3 guys you can call up from your minors.
Senior says breaking news, Eric. What's the
Breaking news.
What is it? He usually tells it.
Hold on. Let me zoom in.
Is it sports related or
It's
did somebody drop a bomb somewhere?
no. It's sports. It's fantasy. Hold on. Do you still got the alarm in here?
Is Robbie Dizzle
I
making
don't think
trades
so.
again? Come on, Robbie. We got a deal going.
Hold
I
on.
hope you didn't undercut me, Robbie.
Oh, yes, we do. Whoa. Didn't want to do
What's
that.
the special announcement? Do you guys have the alarm?
Exactly. Let's go.
Transactions.
I'm sneaking a peek.
Hold on.
Is that still in my in my StreamYard there?
It's in there. Yep.
Okay.
All right, there we go. We got a trade.
Okay, wait till I come back and see you guys. Oh,
There is Senior.
it-
He's trading
It's
Raciel Iglesias.
he's Senior trying to
Yeah.
correct his turn around what he did.
So he's got you're out. Who is Senior trading Raciel Iglesias for Freddie Peralta from Marcus. Look at that.
Oh boy. Here we go.
It is done, gentlemen.
You didn't hit the you didn't hit that when I sent you my trade offer today. You
A negative. That is a
Jesus.
negative. Negative.
Nobody
Well, there
wants
you go. The over and under was a
nobody
half.
wants Real Muto
And
yet.
Dan said, Dan's on the take. Dan said, bet the under, and they've already had one trade.
No, that was
we
me
still got
making a
40
trade.
Oh, that was
I-
you personally. Okay.
And me personally, because but you know what? That's it. I don't know how many trades I'll make this year. I don't know.
Well, you're going to be limited. I don't trade with anybody whose name begins with D. So Dan and Dilly are out.
So now Senior has made
Out.
2 trades now to get starting pitching. So good
Yeah.
for him.
Marcus.
And he picked one
Marcus
up. In,
reminds me of Farhan, doesn't he, Eric?
He
boldly
loaded up
comes on after the draft and goes, I set up a computer program to figure this all out. Oh, here we go. The old Farhan strategy.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Go for it, man.
And then Dilly picking all really closers. I don't know.
Now, see, now the bug is being planted in Dan. Dan's like, I saw a trade. That's going to be tough.
Hello, Dan. Dan. Hello.
I just got offered a deal.
There you go. From Senior, right?
Hello.
No.
Oh, no. Uh-oh.
Hello. Oh, I thought it was Dan. No, okay. No, it's not
Oh,
3
there you
a.m.
go.
yet. Sorry. Danny.
There we
My
go.
wife-
That's
My
second-
wife, by All-Star break, she's like, you shut the phone off when you go to bed. Between Dan and Will.
Mine's
calling
on
me
Do
at
Not
4
Disturb. I
a.m.
assume everybody else's is on Do Not Disturb. Mine's auto. 11 p.m. Doom.
It's out.
Well, it ain't. No, come on now. Maybe for incoming, it certainly isn't shut
For
down.
incoming,
for
yeah.
outgoing.
That's why I said I assume everybody else puts their phone on Do Not Disturb. So
and
if they
Dan
happen
calls
to-
my work phone, and my accountant is like, "You get a hell of a lot of calls at 3 a.m. from Arizona."
I'm not calling anybody at 3 a.m.
Oh, I've got. What do they say now? I have receipts. I have receipts.
What do we want
And the
to do?
text messages. Oh my God, Dan loves to trade late. You're a late night trade guy. I've never seen the likes of it.
Do my best work in the evenings, in early mornings.
Interesting.
You could teach the Giants a few things, probably.
By the way, guys, we do have openings for the NorCal Sports Network fantasy baseball.
Did you get
league.
anybody else? And I'm
We're
still
working on
waiting
it.
for a text message from you.
We're working on it. We got to get more guys. Guys, the buy-in, it's only
I'm in.
$200. It's only $200. And if you need a loan, we've got financing. 6 to 12 months financing.
I
And
thought
if you
everybody would
agree
be
that
interested in that.
AC Schmitt should be the starting third baseman, you're automatically approved. No credit check required. So just
That's
$200.
funny.
Come on.
How many
guys.
you got so far? Did we up any since?
About five. We got Lou, myself.
Did you get Cole? He was begging to come into ours.
Who else was in?
Although you're probably suffering the same
You
thing.
3. There was 2 more.
We had people coming into our chat
Aaron,
saying,
maybe?
I want in, until we told them it was $50 to play. Oh, I'm out. I'm like, Jesus, we can't afford 50.
Yeah, I
It's
bet you
tough
some
right
of these
now.
guys. I bet you some
Baseball
of these
hasn't
guys.
started. March
Win or lose
Madness.
for
They
6
got
months of entertainment.
$200
Give up-
for
give
6
up-
months, but
give
they'll
up
bet every
Starbucks
March
for a
Madness
month.
game and be lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close prepared to go late into the evening for negotiations, he says.
Oh, here we go.
Cliff,
I
I've got a catcher up for grabs. First come, first serve with a good offer. I tried to trade my catcher to Eric today, and Eric.
Who's your
rang the
catcher?
buzzer. Zzz.
Who's your catcher?
I want to move Real Muto, I think.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry,
Send-
Dan.
You want to send something to me?
Unless you want to change your name to Eduardo and give me a call.
Edward.
There you go.
Pepe from the
Hey,
Philippines. Hey.
Edward here. Yeah, I've got I wouldn't mind having Real Milto.
Yeah, I'll trade you Real Muto, and then you'll be on. Eric and I'll be doing our show by Tuesday, and you'll be on your show Tuesday, and you'll be going, "Oh, guys, I'm gonna give you a transcript of what I pulled on Glenn." Ah! That's why I don't trade with you no more. Geez, you made it.
That was
Jesus.
that was
That got fucked.
that was
That
a
got
one.
CNN. That was CNN coverage. Oh, guys, you were talking about that when the season ended. For God's sake,
We were talking about Shohei Ohtani and his
you were.
record fantasy year. 59 stolen
Then
bases.
I was watching one
54
Dan
home
show.
runs.
He had callers calling in. Tell us about that trade. I'm like, Jesus, stop with the trade. I'm not trading with Dan no more. That's it.
Who has
made
Cal
some-
Raleigh?
We made some blockbusters last year. Jesus.
Yeah.
Glenn has Cal.
You have Cal
Yeah, you picked it. Yeah.
Cal Raleigh too?
I have Cal Raleigh. I have JT Realmuto, and I've got the Kansas City catcher I wanted.
Salvador Perez.
Yep. I got 3 of
Oh,
them.
you got 3.
And my pitching
catchers. That's-
staff's good too.
That's pretty good.
I'm happy with my team. But
Hmm.
see, Robbie Dizzle, Robbie drafted Wilmer.
Oh, Hiroku's just upset because he was running away with the fantasy during the regular season, and I made a trade and I ended up winning the fantasy football in the playoffs. And
Glenn helped
Hiroku got
Dan win
knocked out.
baseball. You didn't tell him that we split. Oh, what? No, I shouldn't even joke about that. That'll be the big
Was in.
scandal.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Stupid me.
So-
I'm interested to see what Marcus does after coming in with the old. I've got a computer platform.
I knew. I told Will the day of the draft. I go, Marcus is a guy. I'll bet you that put a program together to figure out who to draft because it's all going to be based on these algorithms of the points, the way it's set up. And lo and behold, he says it, and I was like, "Yep." But I feel like I drafted well. I did not draft a starting pitcher or a pitcher period until the 13th round.
Go away.
And I got some pretty good pitching. They were all sitting there because a lot of guys were going after all the relievers. And then they were going after some of the different. So while you guys were picking pitching in the first 10 rounds, I was loading up on offense.
Either Eric or Dan, were there guys who ever popped up on your radar that you got scammed? You know, it came up on the top corner saying you're 2 picks away, and somebody jumped in and got somebody you thought was going to be a sleeper.
I was surprised I got both Rooker and Osuna in the middle of the draft. 2 DHs. They were sitting there. Mark, yeah, I did see that. The Bengals signed both Chase and Higgins to 4-year contracts. You guys want a tip? Go bet right now. Take the money on Cincinnati to win the Super Bowl. You'll probably get good odds right now.
Eric was drafting ahead of me, and I was surprised when Ellie De La Cruz fell into my lap at number 7.
They don't want him.
Wow.
Who's Gus? Why does he say, Dan, you suck? What did I do to Gus?
I don't know.
Dan, see, Dan's the kinder and gentler. Eric, tell him what I'd be doing to Gus right about now. He'd be on like the 15-day layaway plan. He'd be like, see you. Or the guys come in ours.
Right,
I
Joe.
don't like that. I'm out of here and I'm not coming back. I say, I'll make your life simple. Click. Then
You
they
gotta
get mad.
realize.
They
You gotta
want to.
realize
Well,
with text, you don't know what it is. He could be joking.
Yeah,
He could be
you don't
having
know.
fun. You just don't.
Hey, Robert
Dan.
Rothberg makes an appearance.
oh,
Dan,
geez, his
20 to
ears were
1.
ringing. I knew he
Cincinnati's
was
20 to
coming.
1
Gus.
to win the Super Bowl.
I think
Eric is the man. Dan sucks.
I think
No,
Roethlisberger
he's
and
messing
Mike
with you.
O
I
are
guess
in
I'm not
cahoots.
on Gus's Christmas card list.
No, Gus loves. He earlier he said he loved all 4 of us. So we're good to
Yeah,
go.
all right. Okay.
Robert,
I did.
Robert,
give him
how
a
are they
bad.
determined to win the division? You've gone now. You have them winning the division before.
Oh, Robert.
Robert, they're not going to compete. They're not going to be close to the first 2. Come on, the playoffs are one thing, and maybe being 500 is one thing. Getting lucky, making the playoffs is another. But winning the division,
I could
I
put
don't- I have
Robert
nothing
and
else to
Glenn
say.
in there, and Robert and Glenn in their takes, mix them in a blender, and out comes the shiniest, sweetest smelling turd ever. Because these guys take bad things. Glenn's got Jung-Hoo Lee batting 326 and the Dodgers winning 120. The Dodgers winning 120 is not a crazy take. It could happen, but I don't see Jung-Hoo Lee hitting 326. And if he does, Glenn, I will go on the air and say, Glenn I will bow down to Glenn.
Oh,
and say,
screw
Glenn,
you, Dan. Screw you. If I picked the next 25 things right, you'd still go on the air 9 months from now and go, remember last year when he traded me, Joe? Hey, oh my God. At this point, it doesn't matter what I do. I've been tainted with one move. No, that's okay. We had a lot of fun. Okay. I didn't care. At the end of last year, I thought the fantasy league, well, we all got our $50 worth, didn't we? I thought so. I loved it. I thought it was great. Eric wouldn't trade me.
Gus says he just hates that I have all the major league hats on the wall. Okay. Those are the standings of last year.
I like
right
that.
Up there. Yeah.
I like that.
And they'll be up there again. I don't know. I kind of have a feeling the Giants won't move too much.
Move to your right a little bit, though. Move to your right. I see. No, okay, the other way. L.A., San Diego, Arizona. You see the Giants, and you got, Colorado's so ugly you can't even see the logo. But
I know that.
Lou's got those hats, maybe doing the dance. I don't know. That's scary.
I don't think Colorado. In fact, if Colorado gets off to a
Lou, you said you were talking to somebody. Is that your?
No, just guys that are pretty good. And by the way, Robert, you keep talking about Chapman having a good offensive career here. That's not saying much, considering he's never had 80 RBIs. He's never had 30 homers. He's never batted better than 270. I mean, you're not really saying anything. A career year for him isn't saying much.
Oh, there's Studio 2.
Studio now it's 3. All about the Warriors.
All those hats over there sitting on the corner. Look at all those
white
Giants
one.
hats.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a lot of Giants hats.
Dan's in Studio 1 tonight.
Yeah, I got more Giants hats than I know what to do with. I think I've got just about every style, but I'm waiting for the new ones. I'm waiting for the new City Connects are coming out this year.
Yeah, no creamsicles. I mean, did you see who was it? Not Alex. Some reporter said, guys, bad news. The City Connects, they're replacing them. So I wrote the guy, dude, where have you been? That was announced 6 months ago. Way to be on something. And he goes, yeah, you're an ass. And I go, it's Mr. Ass. And it's Mr. Salty if you have a problem. Don't announce something that was 6 months ago, you loser. And I told him to go up to Scott. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Take that advice, Dan. Let it rest, Dan. Let it rest.
I'm
no
good.
more Ohtani talk.
No more Ohtani talk. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. You know what? I might open you up to trades again. Might open you. Dilly is still out though. Nope. Dilly. I offered Dilly 70 trades last year. Nope.
Dilly didn't make. I think I made one trade with Dilly at the end of the year. He does not make deals.
Dilly wouldn't trade.
And he hasn't been making deals.
He would trade if you gave him your best player. How about we do this? And I'm like, nope. We couldn't come to an agreement. Dan pulled off some big trades last year, though. Lou, are you going to win the NorCal draft there?
What's that?
Supposedly, yes.
All right. Just for you, Cliff. Just for you, Cliff.
Time is going to run short, man.
There you go,
Sharks.
Cliff. Feel better, Cliff?
Right now, my priority is purely March Madness. I mean, I just made my first wager since I have Florida at 47-1 and 24-1 to win it all. First. So, and they're now third choice at 3-1. But I'm looking right now, the Red Storm, who are number 2 in the West, I can get for 25-1.
Number 2 in the West. What?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking men's.
Yeah, March.
Oh,
yeah. What do you think? I'm following the women's March Madness? Glenn, don't tell me you follow the women's March Madness, please.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Geez, I think
you're following the women's March Madness.
I think Juju what? Yeah.
I haven't checked. I'm hoping USC or UCLA win it for the West Coast, but yeah,
We usually go to the game over at Chase when the men are. I hope the women are getting a game at Chase Center. Hey, it's what I like to watch. Can't criticize that, man. It's what I like.
I just don't follow. I mean, I watch the women's final maybe, but I know USC and UCLA are the best, so I know they're both big seeds. So if they can beat UConn, I guess that'll be all right.
I don't think anybody.
But right now, you shouldn't be talking about the women's
to be
brackets.
critical. We all follow the
men's
Giants
brackets
every year.
I know. That's a good point.
Yeah. So
guys, here we are, 12 days out, less than 2 weeks. Two Sundays from now, we'll be knee deep in this freaking mess.
Glenn, are you going to get up early to watch the Dodgers and Cubs in Tokyo live?
I'll be in the radios too. I work midnight till 6 on the radios.
So so you'll be able to watch it because it's on
be
MLB Network.
Oh yeah, the
it's
oldest 96. Here's another 9-song superset as the early morning continues. I'm going back to the ball game. That's what I'll be doing. And now, Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven, and all your 9-minute favorites.
Beautiful.
The boss will be like, what the hell was going on last night? I saw the playlist had 5 songs 1 hour. Yeah, I picked a log. American Pie, Hotel California, Stairway. Now a 6-song set, and I'll be back in about 53 minutes. I've done it before. I'll do it again. So I'll be watching the game. Dude, I can watch any teams. Growing up in Nova Scotia, because of the time difference, there was games starting like 11 o'clock. I used to love watching West Coast games. I just love any 2-ball. It's real baseball. Tuesday, meaningful baseball. That's all I want. I want to watch meaningful baseball. I'm passionate about it. I love it. I love any 2 teams.
Yeah. MLB tonight is always my favorite.
I get pissed off when people talk about it. People, in my realm, who even likes guys who like sports, and they're like, "Oh, baseball's so boring," and I'm like, "It's not boring, but it's the speed. That's what I like about it. It's like I treat it like it's like a chess match." They're like, "Oh yeah, I just wait to watch along." I watch pitch by pitch, batter by batter against pitcher. It's just I love the whole strategy and the numbers, and I don't know. It's a beautiful game. I love baseball.
I think for the Giants, I'm probably about 97%. I'm either I'm on the radio or I watch every inning. Except some of these games are so late. My God, these games start at 6:45. It's 10:50, and the Giants are like in the 8th. Sometimes it's tough to stay all the way up.
10:50 at night. Lou, I'm doing the show at 1:30 in the morning here.
Yeah, but you got to get an agent like Dan. Where you work regular hours. Right, Eric? Same thing.
Yeah,
it's
right.
all about your agent.
Wow. Well,
Dan Sport and look at that. The old teal, the old Sharks. It takes a brave man to wear a Sharks hat in 2025.
Dan's doing some evaluation. I could see it.
Eric,
we keep losing. He keeps dropping out. He's there in spirit, but
he's like that. He's like that. That remember Robbie the Robot?
I got to admit, earlier in the show, that's what I was doing. I dropped you guys right off the screen. I was looking at stats for Robbie Dizzle. So
I'm putting some feelers out there, see what we get.
If I don't make a trade all season, barring some kind of weird, you've set it up, Eric, where you really don't have to. I got like 7 outfielders, and I only get to play 3 plus my utilities. It could be anybody. You get a lot of
now. It's just about it's about reinforcing maybe some weak spots that you may have. That's all it is, because
I'm happy.
No games have been played yet.
I'm happy with my lineup.
Yeah, I'm not
sure I'll get a message after the show from Dan, but that's okay. I'm open for trades for 90 minutes after the show. There's a 90-minute window.
90-minute window. Maybe
that goes for you, Senior. Or no, not Senior. Who was it? The Sharks fan? Who's the Sharks?
Cliff Martinez.
Cliff Martinez.
Mike says, is Harrison going to be a bust? Hard to say.
He probably drafted him too. Did you draft him, Mike?
Oh,
let me see.
Did Harrison even get drafted?
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did.
Between Mike and Robbie DeVille, I'd be surprised if No, he had to. I looked at available
Nope.
Giants today, and he wasn't.
Nobody drafted him.
Nobody drafted him. There you go, Mike. Pick him up.
Mike,
get him.
grab him. I think he's going to have a great year.
Yeah, that makes one of my hot takes look pretty bad on the show. My hot take was that Harrison would get off to a great start and go 8-1 in the first half and become an all-star, and that then he would fade in the second half.
He could. You didn't say at the MLB level, did you?
Deloading said he'd be down.
Glenn, you know what my hot take was?
Okay,
Your boy
there we go.
Your boy would hit 30.
Wilmer. You think Wilmer hits 30?
When he was healthy, he had a great year, but I just don't
With
know
enough
if he's got
playing
anything
time.
left.
That's the problem again.
know,
With
He's
this
not going to
team.
get enough
reach,
playing
yeah.
time. He's not going to get enough playing time.
That's
I
the
think in a
problem.
full season, he has a potential to be a 32 guy.
Dan's home alone. You'll get trade offers. Yeah.
Oh, is your wife still away, Dan?
Yeah, till Wednesday.
She leaves you home alone? Turn the stove off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Or
for
are you
sure.
eating fast food, or you haven't used the stove.
No, she cooked a bunch of stuff for me and froze it, and all I got to do is
Oh, nice.
put it in the fridge, thaw it out over next, and then
Nice.
warm it up. So I've made it this far. I've only had one dinner, and that was the night of our draft. I ordered Chili's. Uber
Yeah,
Eats
and I remember
dropped-
that. Yep.
Uber Eats dropped. That was a nice burger.
Chili's, baby back ribs. I want my
That was a nice
Baby
burger.
back, baby back, baby
That was. I love that burger. In fact, if I wasn't full right now, I'd be ordering another burger. Yeah, I do have a great wife kitchen. I do. If you're watching, honey, I love you. Over in the Philippines, yeah, she's fantastic. But what else can we do before we get out of here, guys? What? And
I think we're good, man.
Are we digging now? We're looking. This is like Eric
I
and
think
I
we're
on the
good.
channel. We're looking
Yeah.
for topics by Thursday. I'm like, what are
Yeah.
we doing tonight? I don't
Yeah,
know.
right now.
next week, next Sunday night, it's the show
Game
right
on.
before
That's regular season
the
begins,
regular
man.
season.
We'll have
Yeah.
we'll have a couple of games to talk about.
The final roster may be set. Maybe set.
Maybe set. I
not.
have a feeling it goes
I have a
into.
feeling it goes down to the
I have a
Who gets
feeling
on
it's
the-
not
who gets on the
done
plane to go to
until
Cincy?
after Tuesday night's game against Detroit, and they travel Wednesday. I don't think there'll be any Farhan shenanigans. Like, remember a couple years ago, somebody thought they were going to be in the team, and then Farhan pulls off some guy on the day of. He claims him a waiver, and he gets him in. Who was that guy?
it wasn't Connor
used to-
Joe.
No, it wasn't even. It was 2 years ago.
Oh, two.
And the guy was, or was it even last year? I can't even remember, but it's some guy. He played on the Giants for a day or two, and then they cut him.
Mike Ford.
No,
Oh, Jesus
Um,
Christ.
That's a pretty good call there, Eric.
a utility guy. Does anybody remember the guy? It was
Because Connor Joe played 1 week for us, and then we traded him to Pittsburgh.
He's
one
done
week.
well there.
But he
It
started
was,
in left field. He was one of those guys that started.
He
since
started
we keep
opening
having
day.
different left fielders. Yeah,
no,
opening
it
day.
wasn't Perez.
I believe it was the year we had Seattle on opening day, and Rodriguez, not Rodriguez. Yeah, Rodriguez was the opening day starter of all people. We got belted. Lost to 7-2. Before we wrap it up, Lou or Dan or Eric, Dan and Eric, you guys are certainly in the loop, but it seems daily. For those who are tuned in and myself, what are our cuts look like? Any roster moves in the last few days? That are we
Should be
moving? Like,
someone.
who's going down? I don't even know where we stand yet.
Here, let's look at transactions for the Giants.
I'm not hearing anything about. I mean, we must be
Usually
working
they
with
make-
a
usually
full
they announce-
roster here. Because even at this point, we're 12 days from opening day. I thought I'd see a little more of the transactions transpiring. But it seems pretty quiet.
Yeah, they only had that one.
Except when the Hells Angels ride by. Did you pay
it
the
wasn't
bills?
fair
Lou, are you
job. It
keeping in
wasn't
good
Connor
standing,
Joe.
Lou?
You said it's an
Oh,
infielder,
yeah.
Dan?
Yeah, it was an infielder. It was a guy that I'd heard of before. He had a name, decent name. I thought he was with the Dodgers at one point. Like he came up with the Dodgers, I thought. What was that guy's name? And somebody was supposed to be there. It was, remember, the parents were going to be there for so and so, and oh gosh, I can't even find it right now. I'm surprised nobody in the chat remembers
the
it.
roster here. Was it Dixon Machado?
No.
Nope.
Tommy LaStella, he's been there too long.
No, not Donnie Walton.
Vossler, Walton, Williams, Brinson.
Jake Cronenworth.
Nope. Matt Beatty. Got it. It was Matt Beatty.
Man.
Remember?
He beat out. Yeah, he beat out.
Yeah, we acquired him from
Peterson.
Kansas City.
He beat out the outfielder that the Giants, Piscotty. Remember,
Yeah.
everyone thought Piscotty was going to make it.
But then there was somebody else that was going to make it, and Beatty shows up, and he's like, and then he's gone just like 3 days later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the day Sergio Romo played his last game as a Giant, last spring training game. I remember now.
Yep.
Yeah, it took a Dodger. It took a Dodger fan. Remember, I told you he was a Dodger. He came up with the Dodgers, Matt Beatty, and he ends up on the Giants. I think he was with Detroit previous or something. I don't know where he
Kansas City.
He came out of nowhere.
Kansas City, yeah. And he shows up, and somebody got knocked off the opening day roster.
It wasn't Piscotty. It was Fitzgerald.
No, it wasn't Fitzgerald. It was.
It was in 23.
Somebody was told they were going to be on the opening day roster, and their family.
I thought it was Fitzgerald.
No, it wasn't Fitzgerald. It was. Was it Wisely? No, it was.
Here, it was March 30th. They assigned Matt Beatty from Kansas City in exchange for cash consideration, selected the contract of Roberto Perez from Sacramento, obtained Jolly to Sacramento, reassigned Bryce Johnson, Sergio Romo.
That was it. He
Casey
thought he was going to make the team. He thought
and Austin wins to Sacramento.
That's who it was.
It was Bryce Johnson. He was all because he had a really good spring, and he was told he made the team. And and he was like, "I'm on the opening day roster," and then Farhan pulls another Farhan right out of his you know what.
I forgot about that one.
Gosh, I mean,
Bryce
this
Johnson.
guy was he did so much of that stuff. And he destroyed so many guys' confidence. That's why I think this year Posey's talking to these guys, Melvin, and I think it comes down to right now. I think the last position player comes down to Wisely and Schmitt. It is possible with Max Stassi starting to hit. He had a home run again today to right, and then double down the left. He could take over the Huff. Dude, Huff. I don't know which way they go. Stassi's the better defender. Huff's supposed to be the better hitter. But Huff doesn't have any options.
How long is Murphy out?
Oh,
who knows? He can't even start playing. He can't even start
forever
on the field for
he won't play on the whole contract.
I still think it's Giants baseball. He'll come back, right back in there, all in with him. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, the only transactions today were right-hand pitcher Miguel Diaz and Juan Mercedes to minor league camp.
Oh, gotcha.
That's the only transactions today.
Wow.
Well, the Giants have to learn, in my opinion, guys, that when you make a move, whether you sign a player or you trade for a player, you trade for the player and what you get or what you give up. At the end of the day, you can't be fearful and leery about just say, I screwed up and move on. We all do it in life. I screwed up. Okay, let's move on. They have this, it's like a phobia, a fear of theirs that, they get, Lou, what did you call it earlier? They just have, you know what I'm saying?
It's the Giants way. And that's the only way. I mean, imagine, say, and again, we're hoping it doesn't happen, but say Harrison just can't get it together, and Eldridge isn't good. There was probably out there. They probably had to trade this offseason, both of them, for someone that you'll hear about in a couple of years. And we're going like, what are we thinking? But you got to give up something good to get a great player. That's just how it is in baseball.
Yes.
You know, it's got to work both ways. You know what our problem is? We fall in love with these guys, even if they've never made it to the pros, because, and you guys got to remember, especially the chat, is the Giants farm system and probably the last 6 or 7 years have been so miserable. How can you believe anything they say is going to be great? You know, I'm not blaming Farhan. It's, you know, I really think when Bell left to become the Cincinnati manager, you know, the Miners really took a bath. And, you know, right now, I mean, I'm glad Eldridge isn't up. You know, he needs a lot of work, and at least they're admitting that. You know, I just need them to do the same thing with Harrison. It's okay if they're not up here. You know, they're not difference makers right now. We need them when they can be a difference maker. You know, I mean, who cares if they come up, you know, and we maybe win 3 extra games? It's not going to make a difference. But, you know, we got to think long term. And I think when me and Dan talk, the Dodgers they know what they're doing. In 3 years from now, they know our team. We barely know what we're doing right now until the end of the season. And, you know, it's a big difference. You know,
Well,
Arizona
kind of helps when you have a direct pipeline to Japan.
Of course.
They basically, who's the next guy coming up? Murakami? Is that the guy? The third baseman, Eric? Murakami?
Murakami is a guy next year.
Yeah, so he's going to be a Dodger. And it's perfect timing. Muncie's, I think, contract last year, I think. And they just bring in Murakami. I mean, it's going to be, it's, I mean, they own it. They own Japan now. I mean,
of course.
It's unbelievable. And Major League Baseball just fed right into it by sending them to Japan.
Yeah,
why didn't they send the Giants to Japan? The Giants have a team in Japan called the Giants. There's no team called the Dodgers. Why aren't the Giants just pounding? And they wear orange and black too. The same colors.
Doesn't matter, Dan. Doesn't matter. It's like anywhere you go in the world now. I went to Mexico in November. Every second person on the resort had a Dodger hat. I was the only guy. I said, "Oh, well, maybe I'll meet a Giants fan." No, that wasn't how. Well, I guess there were a few there talk baseball, and they knew.
You're right, Daniel. It's all about the money. Major League Baseball is in cahoots with the Dodgers. They have made the Dodgers and Japan like one.
I don't know, Dan. I think winning baseball determines that too.
Well, it is, but I mean, obviously winning baseball, but it sure helps to have already a winning team. And then, you know, you get Ohtani, you get Yamamoto, you get Sasaki. Next is Murakami, and, you know, and then, you know, next it's going to be whoever the next star is. It's like a minor league system. It's like a birthright passage. Oh, you're a star player? Oh, we have you all set up to go to the Dodgers. Well, and it's all marketing. They got a whole thing marketing. They got you can get from Japan direct flight to LA with tickets for the Dodgers and hotel. It's all put together. It's all lined up. Yeah. So it's, you know, San Francisco could do the same thing. It's the same. I mean, we're West Coast right there, man. Tokyo to San Francisco, Tokyo to LAX. It's like, those are the two patterns, you know, flight patterns. And why the Giants aren't in on this, why MLB doesn't help the Giants get in on this. Or maybe it's because we had stupid ownership and we were run by Farhan, and that's why it passed us.
No, it's the same now. Hey, they're not doing it. Hey, the marketing department's the same. I'm getting my ticket. I'm getting a Hawaiian shirt again that I can throw in the back of the closet this year. Same old boring stuff. Junk. Matt Chapman bobblehead
baseball. Nothing like it.
Yeah, nothing like it. Nothing like the junk I bring home.
You know, you got to remember, Giants, of course, they said they offered the same contract to Ohtani, which we know is not true, obviously. But, You know, they spent the $750 million. They deferred everything. They could have put the money in Dan's account for him to run it, so they're not going to pay it. It's actually only going to cost about $500 million. The Dodgers also, every single Dodger game is live in Tokyo with American broadcaster and Japanese broadcasters.
Really?
And every time Ohtani comes on, it's not one, but two channels show him batting. That's what they've done. They've taken it to another level. The Giants, what do we get? We have two announcers that have been here for so long, they're making mistakes. We have a Hall of Famer that makes mistakes. And then we have a homer, a young kid from Stanford who's great on ESPN and basketball, who thinks everyone's against the Giants on every single call. That's the one thing about the Giants is we keep going the same thing. We need youth. We need different personalities. The Giants need to
freshness.
Get out. Yeah, fresh stuff. 10 years ago, the Giants, you know, I saw somebody on the chat saying, oh, we fell in love with the Giants 2010, 12, and 14. That's 11 years ago. Nobody cares anymore about those championships. Nobody cares about how great Barry Bonds was. We just want a left fielder that's going to play 2 consecutive years.
Next generation.
The Giants need something to get us excited. We need someone like Eldridge that can be the face of the Giants. Right now, you know who the face is? Buster, who's president of operations. Schmitt's not the face of the Giants. Webb's not the face of the Giants. Adames isn't. We don't really have one.
No,
we need somebody, a young stud like Eldridge that can be the face of the Giants so they can do something.
You know what brings it into reality? And Eric, you can answer and attest to this as well. When we get a guy like Dilly who comes on our show almost regularly, he's in every night. He's active in the chat and he comes on the show quite often. But he'll come on and say, yeah, I remember when they won the World Series and I was 7. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. That makes me feel old.
Yeah.
When I was 7, my dad would take me to the game. I'm like, Jesus Christ. It was that long ago.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Hey, Eric and Dan, before. Okay, go ahead, Lou.
No, I was just going to say it's the same thing with these Warrior fans. You know, this young generation, oh, the Warriors are the best. You didn't suffer when they played at Oracle, you know, before they won the championships. You know, how great the atmosphere was because they were so hungry. You know, now the Warriors, you know, I've seen 5 championships. The Warriors are the greatest. You didn't have to suffer. Same thing with the Giants, which made those championships so unique.
Yep.
Is a lot of us suffered for 30 years. Guys, I was at Dodger Stadium where all we had to do was win one game, and then we were going to have the one-game playoff at the stick against Atlanta, and we lost. Solomon Torres got rocked.
Yeah.
Okay? I've gone through it.
It's years, 42 years actually of suffering from 68 to 2010.
You know,
I saw one division championship growing up. In 71, I was 10. And they didn't win another one until 87.
Yeah, but that's the sad thing about baseball, Dan. We keep coming back for more on opening day, baby. We're back.
Yep. And every year I'd bring it back. I'd come back and I'd say, my name used to be Robert Rothberg. And then it was like, you know, in 1975, you know, I'm 14 years old. And John Montefiusco, and the Giants are the greatest team, and it's Montefiusco. And I would listen to every stinking inning of every game on my transistor radio, and they would suck, and I would be pissed for the whole day. And then they'd lose the next day, and I'd be pissed. And then they'd win the next one, and I was the greatest, happiest guy on earth. That was my life.
Park. And then Glenn, growing up, at least I know me and Dan did. Occasionally, I used to keep score all the time growing up. That was my big thing, keeping score. And then you had to listen. Was that an error or was that a hit? You know,
I did the same thing. And the only way I could follow the Giants was late at night, anywhere from Ontario over. So when being in the national.
Yeah, Canberra would, or back then it was KSFO.
Radio stations late at night.
Yeah, it was KSFO back then.
Yeah, I didn't get the West Coast feed, so that's not like now where I keep saying to Eric on our show, everything is so kids got it so almost you take it for granted now. Where I appreciated it more when it was, hey, I got to catch a game this week. I really appreciated it. Now, you want to know something, you just pick up your phone, and it's not the same.
Or Twib Notes once a week. Mel Allen, when he would talk about the
uh,
Giants, how exciting it was. Oh my God, we got
This
mentioned.
week in baseball,
Out on the Bay, the Giants took 5 out of 7 to now climb up to second. All right, man.
Let me ask you guys an honest
Big
question.
news.
Each one of you guys. After the 0-2 debacle, the World Series, where they had it won in Game 6, and then 0-3, they came
Thanks,
back.
Dusty.
And won
Thanks, Dusty.
0-3, they came back, won 100 games, and then lost. Snow got thrown out the plate by 25 feet.
The Mets.
After that season, did you guys ever believe you would see the Giants win a World Series in your lifetime?
Ooh.
Cruz dropping the ball.
probably.
I did not.
Probably
that was tough,
because
because
with
you just-
every year came the renew. It's the same at our age now. Every year is renewed.
When they started going into the tank, I thought I
is it?
thought we were the Cubs because
never.
or the Boston Red Sox. I thought, we
But it
had
goes
the
in
curse.
cycles, Dan. It goes
After
in
the
cycles.
0-2
A dozen
season, I
years
was
ago,
like,
we were watching the Chicago White Sox in
Yeah.
World Series.
Yep.
Like in Detroit.
but there's
Those-
30 teams, and to win a World Series.
Yeah.
And after that 0-2, how old was I in 0-2? I was 41. And I was devastated after that series. I was in my basement in Connecticut, Game 6, watching with my friend, and I was celebrating. I'm like, "Woo, we're up 5-0. I'm like, we're winning our first World Series. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it after all those years. And then to have what happened.
Yeah, Dusty and the Rally Monkey.
And then for them to win in 10 and 12 and 14, all as that did is tell the existing ownership group, we're satisfied. We can now build Mission Rock. These people, this is the time to put money into the real estate. These suckers will just keep coming back. We don't even have to, they're Giants fans. We can live off of our 3 world championships for the next 20 years. And that's kind of how I felt. They've done it for 10. They've made it 10 years.
Yeah. That's
They've
crazy,
made it
huh?
10 with just mediocrity, and nobody's really called them out on it, right? Not that much. The Bay Area media has not really called them out on it.
I remember back October 1981, Dan, same boat, where I lived and died by it. I mean, I told you on the show recently, reading the box scores. I don't read box because you just flip on the TV or you go on the internet and boom, there's the score. And I used to look forward to box scores in the newspaper. It's a lost thing now. It's like the telephone to kids now. They don't know what it is, a box score in the newspaper. But one of the saddest days as a kid was October of 1981 when Rick Monday hit the home run off Steve Rogers in the 9th inning at Olympic Stadium,
Of course.
and knocked out the Expos. And that Expo team was, again, talk about a Dodger-esque type team with Gary Carter and Ellis Valentine and Tim Raines and Larry Parrish and Warren Cromartie. And oh man, they were stacked. And the pitching staffs they had. Oh, and then
you got to remember one thing, Glenn. In the strike season, Expos didn't make the playoffs, and they had the best record before the strike, and then they had the best record after when they had Andre Dasson and Rock Raines. People forget. I mean, they probably don't even know
the strike
that we
year
had a team in Montreal. Yeah.
What year was that?
People forget the Expos were a dynasty
94?
for a while.
Yeah, that was after those guys.
No, there was another strike because you
81.
keep talking. There might be a strike in 2 years. Was it 81?
81. There was a
81.
strike. They had like basically 2 seasons. Remember, it was weird.
Yeah, and the Expos didn't make the playoff. It was weird the way they designed it.
Yeah, it was a weird.
Didn't make the
setup.
playoffs. There was no World Series.
No,
They
81
canceled
there
the
was.
season.
No, you're thinking of 94. We're talking about 81.
Yeah, in 81, the Expos made the playoffs and they lost to the Dodgers in the
No, this is another year. I remember that. Yeah, Rick Monday, boy, there's a guy that loves America. People forget when the the jackasses burned the flag, and he came out of nowhere to snag it.
Yeah, Rick Monday, that was awesome.
But there was also, like Dan said in the show last Sunday night here on the Hot Corner, talking about that was one of the biggest sports days in Canadian history. That Dodgers Expos game, the winner goes to the World Series, and to go to the 9th inning and blow it. And it started off, first couple of innings, they put it on in all the classrooms. It was like, the principal or whatever put it on so you could listen. It was on in the classroom. It's like, oh, the Expos game's on. That's the biggest game.
Was it on in French or English? In French, right?
English.
In Montreal, Quebec French. Oh, it was in English. Okay.
Yeah, English. And then caught the last, I missed like 2.5 innings going home on the school bus, and then watched the end of the game, and it was just so sad. It's funny, all these years later, it still haunts you. Well, like when you can almost, have you ever done this? I've done
was that your toughest loss ever?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I think we've all experienced tough losses.
But I even at this point in my life, football games, not so much baseball anymore, because I just sit back. I have more of I watch it and I have a passion for it, but not, I'm not, you don't have to keep the sharp knives away from me or anything like that. But have you guys, especially when I was young, you work yourself up into such a freaking, like I've done it recently. Why I couldn't wait because I had bets going, watching UFC. Jesus, I was more hopped up than the fighters come time for the bell. And then 8 seconds later, it's over. I'm like, oh, talk about a letdown. I would go all week waiting for this UFC fight, the title fight. It comes on like midnight over here. And then ding, ding. Oh, it's over. It's like, Jesus, that's it.
Oh, my gosh.
And the same with football. Getting ready, like, we can't lose. You know what happens? You work yourself up and say, we can't lose. We can't lose. We can't lose. And what happens? We lose. That's the worst thing about being a fan. Now I just kind of take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Hey, Robert.
Someone took a picture as their first pick. All right.
Yeah. Robert has a question. Dan, if you manage the Giants, could you hire me as your assistant? Not my assistant, Robert, but you would be my club psychologist, because when my guys go 0 for 15 in a slump, I'll send them into your office, and they will come out feeling like they are an all-star and that they are God's gift to this green earth. They will feel so emboldened that they will either continue to suck and not worry about it, or they will break out of that slump. But either way, we'll be able to either move off of them and cut them, or you'll bring them back to life, Robert. You will become the most valuable sports psychologist in the history of sport, because everyone is going to feel like they are the MVP of baseball.
Dan, I thought you were going to say with, all the harping on Lou and I do about this marketing team and the stupid giveaways, and you buy a ticket, you get your bobblehead breaks by the 3rd inning. I think they should hire Robert right now and make him the head of marketing. He'd first of all come up with a new slogan, and he's running around town telling everybody how great they are. I mean, the guy would sell tickets on his own, just with his mouth. Word of mouth. He'd be, you got to come see this team. They're the greatest thing ever. April, we're get your tickets for the World Series. I'm telling you now. He'd have people worked up into a frenzy himself. So I think I give him credit.
I give him credit too, because it is somewhat refreshing to have that much of a passion for your team, and that you believe that much in them that you see no real faults. It's really unconditional love.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
So I get it, but we can't do that. Otherwise we have no credibility.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So we can't come out here and say that, because if we did, there'd be about 9 people watching us all laughing at us, because the other people would be like, these guys are clowns. I'm not wasting my time. They think the Giants are going to win the World Series. So, but we love you, Robert. And with that, let's get out of here.
Let's get the hell out of here. All right, guys.
Hey, next week we'll be bringing in the season, boys.
Yep. Gonna be soon.
right.
All right, guys. It was a fun.
Road.
It was a fun hot corner. Next time we show up again, it would only be a couple of days away from the
Giants baseball, nothing like it.
season opener. All right, let's get the hell out of here, guys. It was fun.
Yeah.